And this can kind of cause those kind of problems. Same thing with police shootings, right? Someone saying, hey, this guy has a weapon, or this guy appears to have a weapon. Yeah. There's a big difference between those two things.
Yeah, legal, when they're speaking like legal terms, they're always like super careful about that. Like, oh, they'll say allegedly, or, you know, like, even though the guy just did it on camera. The suspect, even that's like a suspect. I'm watching it right here on the video. Yeah. No, it's not proven in the court of law yet. Yeah. So, you know, it's like,
they're careful about that legal one.
Oh, yeah.
Next section's about orders. Formal orders. Formal orders will be preceded by letters of instruction and by personal conferences. In this way, the whole purpose of the operation will be made clear together with the mission to be accomplished by each major unit. In this way, if communication breaks down during combat, each commander can and must so act as to attain the general objective. This is a little something we called decentralized command. Right? Everyone has to know what the main objective is, so when communication breaks down, which it will, we can still move forward. The order itself will be short, accompanied by a sketch. It tells what to do, not how. It is really a memorandum and assumption of responsibility by the issuing commander. So, a bunch of key things there. The order is supposed to be short. The order's accompanied by a sketch. Once again, we get this visual representation thing seems to be important. Mm-hmm. And this is an important one. It tells what to do, not how. I have to brief people on that one all the time. So, and you'll also notice this. Formal orders will be preceded by letters of instruction and by personal conferences. So, you know, a trick question that I ask companies when I'm working with them, what's better form of communication? Email or voice or face-to-face? And of course, everyone says voice. Or they say face-to-face. I'll say, what's a better form of communication? Email or phone call? And everyone goes, oh, phone call's so much better. Right? That's everyone's gut instinct. Oh, yeah, talking to someone's so much more clear. And then I say, okay, here's the problem with just talking. If we just talk, I say one thing, you hear something else. And this happens all the time. So that's why I follow up. When you and I have a conversation, I follow it up with an email and say, hey, just want to make sure we're good on this. Make sure that we're going to do A, B, and C. Yeah. And then you say, hey, I thought we were doing A, B, and D. And I say, oh, no, sorry, my fault. Yeah. I didn't explain it clearly. So that's one way. The other thing is the opposite is also true. If I just send you an email, I want you to do this. There's no tone. Right. There's no expression. You might not see the importance. I might have written it clearly. So if it's important, I send you an email and I say, hey, Echo, just following up to make sure that we're on the same page, because I'm not always the best at writing stuff. Mm-hmm. But when the email I just sent you, I wanted to make sure that you know that you understood it was A, B, and C. Did that come through? Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Or you're like, wait a second. So you want to use both. And that's exactly what he's saying here. You write it, you speak it, you write it.
Yeah, you ever see those guys or talk to those guys where you talk to them, they're all excited, you can totally tell, and then when they text you, it's like 2, 3, sometimes 1 word answers, you know, and so you're kind of like, oh man, he must be kind of mad because his tone now is way different than when I was talking to him or whatever. You know, you sort of make your own interpretation of the thing depending on like maybe, I don't know, maybe how you do it or something like that. But some people, that's just how they write, you know. So they'll be like, hey, get back to me, period. And it's like, dang, this guy's mad. He wants me to get back to him.
My son in text is like just the most horrible.
Yeah, like you.
Okay. Check.
Then again, no, but you do express certain tones, more comedic, I think, for comedic effect. Well, in my experience anyway, I'm sure, you know, you have a whole thing. But yeah, when I was texting him, your boy, same deal. Like he was like the younger version of you. Yeah.
He just has no, what do you say? He was in a surf contest the other day and, you know, so I was somewhere else And, I'm texting him, hey, did you make it through the first heat? Because the way surf contests work, you surf in heats, and you have to get in the top 3 in each heat to advance, and then eventually you get to the finals. Mm-hmm. So I'm texting him. And this is a teenage boy, right? So it's not like he's not on his phone.
Right.
I'm texting him, hey, how'd you do? Hey, how'd the first heat go? Did you make it through? Nothing heard all day. Yeah. Finally, the end of the day, I say, hey, did you finish the contest? How did you do? He writes back, got 2. Which meant he got second place in the contest. Like, that's all it said. All small letters.
Yeah.
How does it even do small letters? Because it automatically somehow on his phone, no automatic capitalization. It says got 2, which is the 17-year-old boy's way of saying, hey, Dad, I got second place today. Right. Thanks for showing some concern, and I appreciate your support as a father.
I had a great time.
Yep, that's all in there, right? No, got 2. Yeah. So anyways, yeah. Follow up with, and then when I called him later or whatever, he's like, oh yeah, first, he's giving me all the details.
Right.
Got 2.
Yeah.
And he talks about something called fragmentary orders, frag orders. After the initial order, you will seldom get another formal order, but you may get fragmentary orders in writing or orally, by phone or personally. Take down all oral orders and repeat them back. Have your juniors do the same to you. Again, can you imagine how many times and how important this is that this guy, General Patton, by the way, is saying, listen, when you get told to do something, write it down and read it back. That's just the standard operating procedure of life. When you get told to do something, write it down, read it back. There's nothing that instills more confidence in me than when I'm telling somebody what to do and they're taking notes on it. That's just, you go, okay, cool. I can barely even trust, look, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I barely even trust waitresses or waiters when I'm telling them what I want and they're just looking at me like, I got this.
Yep.
I'm always nervous.
Oh, yeah.
I guess maybe really not. Sometimes I can't help myself, but I'll say, well, you must be pretty good. And they'll be like, yeah, I got you. Right. And they're looking at me like they do this all the time.
Right. Do you think that that's like a move, like a flex, right, for service industry when it's like, oh, yeah, like I'm so good.
A little bit of a flex and also just a skill, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like showing off the skill.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't even think they're showing off. Sometimes I just think that's what they do. Yeah. That's what they're just trying to, they're just saying like, yeah, I got this.
That's what they do on an individual level or as a company? Because
that individual,
it could be both.
That individual's like, hey, go ahead, tell. Because I always want to order right now. Yeah. When they come over to offer you water, I want to order then. Like I don't want to go through the sequence. When you come to me, I want to order because I already know what I'm getting. I'm getting a Caesar salad and a ribeye. That's already happening. So we already know that walking into the place. I don't need to look at the menu. I don't want to look at the menu. So when they come over and they say, they start pouring my water and I say, I'm actually ready to order. And sometimes they just look at me and say, okay, go.
Hit me.
Kind of a pro move, right?
I think so.
I think over time I've become more comfortable with it. And now when someone does that, I know they're a pro. Yeah. So I guess now I'm good with it. Yeah. I didn't used to be. When I transitioned from eating at, let's say, the restaurants where there's no pros, right? Like a normal restaurant, people are just in there, they're taking notes, right? This is like this is their secondary job, whatever. They're a teenager, whatever. Like they're just doing this to make whatever some extra money. When you go to a real restaurant where there's pros, I have confidence in those people.
Yep. Until
there's a mistake.
Yep. Yes. But, and I think, and I know this because I was with my wife literally, not yesterday, it was the day before, whenever, very recently, either yesterday or the day before. We were at a sushi restaurant. Okay. It was our first time there. It was nice inside, but it was kind of new, casual, trendy nice.
Okay.
That kind.
Little nervous.
Kind of minimalist, but it's like, you don't know if it's like, is this a high-end restaurant? Or just super trendy. So, the jury was still out on that whole situation. So, whatever. And then, he pulled one of those. I respected him for it. I like when they do that on that level. But there is a question mark in the back of my, because I'm one of the annoying type order.
You got special things you want.
You got the this and can I have extra this and I don't want a Coke, but until the food comes.
I think it's also kind of like chess. A good chess player is looking at the chessboard in chunks. So they don't have to remember every piece. They're remembering whole schemes of maneuver that are going to happen.
Yeah.
When you're ordering in the restaurant, when you say, I want steak and like they already, all they actually are remembering is when you say, oh, I'd like the peppercorn sauce medium, right? That's the only thing they really need to remember because they remembered everything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm with you though. Like if someone's like, boom, boom, they're on it and they bring everything, especially the annoying sides. Okay, so me and my wife's like this too, where she'll be like, she'll want different sauces that you don't normally get with it, like that kind. Me too. And then,
yeah, I know it's a pain to have those specialty requests, right?
But it makes it so much better. But nonetheless, if they come through with that, boom, without being quote unquote reminded, and I don't even me saying reminded like it sounds condescending, but the thing is, I understand.
When they don't give you what you asked for, do you just suck it up and just deal with it, or do you say something? Which one?
What do you mean say something?
Okay,
I remind them, can I get the sriracha or whatever, or the wasabi, whatever. But
then do they act super guilty, or do they act just super annoyed?
Oh, I don't remember any time anyone acting annoyed, but
have you ever? I've done that where I've asked for some little specific thing and then they don't deliver, and then I say, hey, I actually asked for this, and they're like, and they're acting annoyed at me.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen.
And I can see where I deserve it, right? Because I'm asking for some specific thing. Too. So that's why when somebody messes something up, I'm kind of like, okay, well. That's just how it is.
I feel like I'm jamming up the whole system because I used to work service industry a long time. Yeah. So you have a system and it works so good, especially when you're dealing with like people after people, group and group like all day, and the system works so good. And it's probably formulated off of like something that everyone's cooperating with. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it's working.
And I'm not cooperating. I feel because I'm the customer who's not technically cooperating. You know how, because it starts with what? Drinks. Hi, everybody, sit down. 1 minute. Yeah. Should be like 1 minute.
Water's
drinks.
Coming.
Water.
Drinks.
You want anything to drink besides water, blah, blah, blah. Me, I'm like.
Some appetizers.
Bro, yeah. So, bro, I'm the kind of like, I do want a drink, but how's this? I want the drink to come with the food. Already jamming up the whole system. So they should be annoyed with me. In fact, I wouldn't say they should be, but if they're annoyed with me, I understand. Yeah. Oh, I'm annoying already. And it doesn't stop there. Bro, they'll bring out the sushi or whatever. I'll be like, hey, can I have 2 sides of extra wasabi, side of eel sauce, and teriyaki sauce? Sometimes I have teriyaki sauce. And it's like, bro, this guy, just ordered like everybody in here is playing the game. You're over here doing all this stuff. I'm over here trying to memorize your order without writing it down, and you're over here throwing this at me. So I understand.
But I think to my point earlier, they don't have to memorize your whole order. They're just like, oh, this guy's got these 2 things that are outside the normal box. So there's only really 2 things they have to remember. I think. Yeah, I think that's what happens.
I think you're right.
All this means, look, you're a leader. You're a junior leader. Your boss is going to tell you to do something. Do yourself a favor. Do your boss a favor. Don't make him wonder if you're a waiter or waitress that can handle the scenario. Don't make him wonder that. You whip out your notebook and you go, hey, boss, let me just read this back to you, what you told me, because I want to get this 100% right. And you say, okay, awesome. Yeah. Up the confidence level.
Good idea.
That's my recommendation. Next section, warning orders. Warning orders are vital and must be issued in time. This requirement applies not only to combat units, but also the surgeon, signal officer, quartermaster, and ordnance officer, engineering officer, who must get warning orders promptly. They too have plans to make. And warning orders is the initial thing that you tell the troops. Hey, we might be attacking. Get ready for this. That's a warning order. I sent somebody a warning order the other day. Oh yeah, I remember what it was. I literally, because he's another team guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, here's a warning order.
Oh yeah, you call it a warning order?
Yeah,
like you classify it.
Here's the warning order. Yeah. Because I was just giving them a heads up. We got a possible scenario.
I'll do that too. I'll say new mission though. Like I'll indicate what this is coming.
So here's the thing with that. New mission means you're going to tell them exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. Warning order, you give them just because. Warning order is just a heads up.
Right, like this might
be happening. And here's kind of the general thing we think is going to be happening. So you can give it to them a little bit earlier. New mission means now you got all this prep to do because you didn't get a warning order.
Oh, right.
Step up your game. Next, keep troops informed. Use every means before and after combat to tell troops what they are going to do and what they have done. Boom. There you go. I believe there's a whole section in that in the book called Leadership Strategy and Tactics. And I think it's literally called Keep the Troops Informed. Next, administration, supply. I was thinking, I'll skip this because whatever. No, here's what it says. The onus of supply rests equally on the giver and the taker.